What would you do if a little girl, barefoot and covered in dirt, tugged on your coat and whispered, "Can I eat with you?" Most would walk away. But what this millionaire did instead, it didn't just change her life, it changed his. And by the end of this story, it might just change yours too. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe our channel Kindness Talks for more real-life inspired emotional stories. The city was loud, busy, and indifferent, a concrete jungle where everyone had somewhere to be and no time for anyone who didn't. Especially not for a child in tattered clothes. On a snowy December evening, in front of one of Manhattan's most exclusive restaurants, a man stepped out of a black SUV. Tall, dressed in a perfectly tailored coat, Gregory Langston was the kind of man who turned heads. The world knew him as the genius tech entrepreneur worth billions, but very few knew the man behind the money. As Gregory stood outside waiting for his reservation, he felt a slight tug on the hem of his coat. He looked down. Standing there was a little girl, no older than 8, with dirty cheeks, matted hair, and torn mittens that barely covered her frozen fingers. Her eyes were large, dark, and hungry. But it was her voice that pierced something inside him. "Sir, can I eat with you?" The doorman stepped forward quickly. "Hey! Back off, girl, go on. You can't beg here." But Gregory raised a hand. "It's okay." The girl flinched, ready to run, but stayed frozen in place as he crouched down and asked softly, "What's your name?" "Emily," she replied, biting her lip. I'm not a thief. I just saw your table and thought, maybe you had extra." Those words. Maybe you had extra. They stayed with him like a thorn in the heart. Gregory stood up, and to everyone's shock, the doorman, the valet, even a paparazzi nearby, he took the girl's hand and walked straight into the 5-star restaurant. Guests gawked. A homeless child with a billionaire? Was it a PR stunt? A dare? But for Gregory, something deeper was stirring. He requested a private booth, ordered warm soup, mac and cheese, and hot cocoa. Emily's eyes sparkled as she ate, her tiny hands trembling with every bite. It was the first real food she'd had in days. As she ate, she talked. About her mom who had died 2 years ago. About shelters that were full. About the alley where she and her brother sometimes hid, and how last week, he'd gone missing after going to ask for help. "I think someone took him," she whispered. No one listens when you're small. Gregory's throat tightened. He remembered his own childhood, one of foster care, abuse, nights he couldn't remember because he blocked them out. He had clawed his way up, shutting the door to those memories long ago. But this little girl had opened them. He sent out a private security team with her brother's last description. He had no idea why. He had meetings, deals, people waiting. But something inside told him, this matters more. By the end of the night, Emily had fallen asleep with her head against his arm. He watched her chest rise and fall, and realized, she trusted him. A child who had every reason not to trust anyone. As Gregory carried her to his car, paparazzi flashes lit up again. But this time, he didn't care. Something inside him had shifted. He wasn't just going to give her food. He was going to give her life. End of Chapter 1. Hook for Chapter 2, tease viewers to stay. Just when Gregory thought he could help her, Emily disappears the next morning, and what he discovers next leads him to a broken shelter, a dirty notebook, and a secret that no billionaire was prepared to face. Gregory didn't sleep that night. He stayed up, watching Emily sleep peacefully in the guest room of his penthouse, wrapped in blankets too big for her. He made calls all night, to private investigators, child services, and hospitals. But by morning, Emily was gone. No alarms, no broken windows. Just a note. I didn't want to make trouble. I have to find my brother. Thank you for the food, Mr. Gregg. He froze, staring at her childish handwriting. Security footage showed her slipping out during the early dawn hours, bundled in one of his coats, holding a small worn teddy bear. For the first time in years, Gregory felt panic. Not because of a deal. Not because of money. But because he realized something terrifying: he cared. He got into his SUV and combed through alleyways. No one had seen her. But hours later, a breakthrough came. His investigator called. They had found something. Not Emily, but a notebook. Found in a broken-down homeless shelter a few blocks from where she'd first approached him. Gregory opened it with trembling hands. It was a diary, her brother Daniel's. Page after page, written in a child's messy scrawl, filled with notes about keeping Emmy warm, finding food, and his biggest fear, that if anything happened to him, Emmy would be alone forever. The last entry was 4 days ago. I heard there's a bus that takes kids to a big house where they get food and beds. I'm going to try. If I don't come back, maybe someone kind will find Emmy. Please. Gregory closed the book, his chest tight with emotion. He made one call. Find that bus. Find every stop it made. I don't care what it costs. Days passed. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. The world didn't understand. Why was a billionaire obsessed over 2 homeless kids? But he didn't care. And then, one night, a call came in. A boy matching Daniel's description had been found in a youth drop-in center outside the city. He was weak. Ill. But alive. And beside him, curled up on a cot, was Emily. Gregory drove there himself. When Emily saw him, she broke down crying. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave. I had to find him. He knelt beside her and said only 4 words. You're never alone again. The next months were filled with lawyers, social workers, paperwork. But Gregory fought for them, for custody, for education, for love. He didn't just become their guardian. He became their family. He turned an unused wing of his mansion into a school for underprivileged children. Started a foundation in their mother's name. And every year, on the snowy anniversary of their meeting, the 3 of them would visit that same restaurant. Same booth. Same meal. And as Gregory looked at them, the 2 little souls who had walked into his life with nothing, he realized they had given him something he had never found in boardrooms or private jets. Purpose. She just asked to eat with him, but what she really gave him was a reason to live. Because sometimes, the smallest voices hold the power to heal the biggest hearts.